Hi everyone, my name is Guillaume Paradis and I'm Hydro Ottawa's Chief Electricity Distribution Officer. Chez Hydro-Ottawa, l'engagement d'être au service de nos clients et de leur fournir une source d'énergie fiable, de façon sécuritaire, en est un de longue date. Et c'est une responsabilité qu'on ne prend pas à la légère. With an understanding that power outages and construction activities can often be disruptive to our day-to-day activities, our focus remains to keep the lights on. But to do so, we need to regularly evaluate, replace, and upgrade equipment and infrastructure across our entire electrical distribution system. This is why you may see us in your neighborhood. This may involve crews working in your backyard, alongside roads, conducting tree trimming near overhead lines and transformers, or even moving our overhead power lines to an underground system. By doing this work, we help maintain the electricity grid, meet our city's growing demand, and most importantly, we help prevent larger power outages in the future. En tant que fournisseur d'un service essentiel, nos investissements et nos décisions sont prises en tenant compte des intérêts de nos clients et de notre communauté, et c'est le cas pour le projet dont vous allez entendre parler aujourd'hui. J'espère que vous apprécierez la présentation et n'hésitez surtout pas à partager vos réflexions et à poser vos questions. Merci. Thank you.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us for this open house. For all of us at Hydro Ottawa, delivering a safe and reliable service to our customers is one of our core objectives. Throughout 2020, on average, Hydro Ottawa customers had power 99.981% of the time, one of the highest levels of service of any utility in Ontario. We are aware that in recent months, many of our customers in the Orleans area have experienced multiple interruptions, falling short on our commitment to deliver best-in-class reliability. This level of service is unacceptable to us, and we are committed to improving upon your recent experience. I would like to take this opportunity this evening to outline the background of some of the recent events you may have experienced and then share with you the recent investments we have made in your neighborhood, as well as the high-level look at those to come, what to expect, how this will benefit you and your community, and how we will keep you informed throughout the process. As a result of completed mitigations and ongoing renewal work in the area, Hydro Ottawa expects the reliability trend to stabilize and progressively improve in the coming years. Steps have been taken to reduce the potential impact of equipment failure and limit the resulting number of customers affected by system issues. Although Hydro Ottawa is taking a number of proactive steps to ensure a reliable service in your area, external factors may still affect system performance and outages may continue to occur. Work to renew aging assets across the community will be ongoing for the better part of the decade to support the long-term quality of service. The Orleans area is serviced by 4 stations, with the majority of the customers being serviced from the Bilberry TS station, which is owned by Hydro One. The neighborhoods which are serviced by the Bilberry station are primarily underground construction, and much of the cable is nearing or has reached end of life. Furthermore, due to the steady growth in the Orleans area, the number of customers serviced by each of the 4 feeders coming from the Bilberry station has also increased quite rapidly. As a result, when outages do occur, the number of customers impacted can be quite high. Before we go on, I would like to first provide you with definitions of some terminology that I will use in the latter half of the presentation. A feeder line is a type of transmission line through which electricity is transmitted to power systems. Feeders transmit power from the substation to the distribution points. Breakers are switches that automatically cut off electric current when overload or some other anomaly occurs. Breakers are used to open and close circuits. They will automatically trip if a short circuit occurs, as mentioned above. This function in the power system is similar to that of fuses or breakers in a household distribution panel. The number of outages at Bilberry Station has been increasing in recent years. The primary reason for these outages is defective equipment, which is largely due to cable faults of the aged underground infrastructure. The number of outages are also increasing as a result of the scheduled outages which have been required to complete the replacement work that we have completed to date. I would also like to take this time to address the string of outages that were experienced by many of our customers in early summer of this year. We recognize that these outages were impactful and disruptive. Upon noting the alarming trend, Hydro Ottawa took urgent action and activated our incident command center, meaning we treated the situation as an emergency. We immediately deployed crews to the area to inspect equipment and identify potential vegetation overgrowth. Hydro Ottawa also undertook a joint review of the outage events with Hydro One, which resulted in steps being taken to reduce the number of customers impacted by a single outage. In order to address aging infrastructure in the station, as well as the number of customers serviced by the existing feeders, Hydro Ottawa and Hydro One have a number of significant investments planned for the coming years. The 2 new breakers that will be installed in approximately 2024 will enable Hydro Ottawa to reduce the number of customers on the existing feeders, meaning individual outages will impact less customers. Hydro Ottawa and Hydro One will also plan to invest in end-of-life equipment in the station, including breakers, protection equipment, and transformers. These investments will serve to reduce the number of equipment-related outages experienced by our customers. Hydro Ottawa will also continue to invest in the replacement of our end-of-life underground cable. We recognize that these projects are highly disruptive to the neighborhoods and thank you in advance for your patience with our construction crews as they undertake this very necessary work. We will continue to prioritize the neighborhoods based on results from our cable testing program and the number of reliability events. However, work can be expected to occur in the Bilberry, Sunview, Fortune, Des Epinette, Visano, and Beausejour areas. You're likely wondering by now, when will I be impacted and how long or what the impact to my house or street will be. Rest assured that once we have project dates and details scheduled, additional information sessions will be held for each specific area of Orleans to ensure directly impacted customers are aware of the work being done in their neighborhood and on their street if applicable. Those customers will be notified by email and/or letter delivered to their residence or business, and more information will be available on our website. It is important to keep your contact information up to date through Hydro Ottawa so we can ensure you are receiving all the necessary information. Recognizing that many of our customers are now working from home and that planned power interruptions during the day can be incredibly impactful, Hydro Ottawa created a battery loan pilot program for our customers. This simple and easy-to-use program allows our customers to request a battery pack, which is conveniently delivered to their door on the morning of the outage. The battery pack enables our customers to power small electronics in their homes, such as routers and laptops. When service is restored, our crews return to pick up the battery. Many customers in the Orleans area took advantage of this program this past summer, and the overall feedback we have received thus far has been tremendously positive. As a result, we expect to continue to offer this option for all cable replacement projects in 2022 and beyond. Thank you for taking the time to join us this evening. We will now open the floor to any questions.